Today we are trying to get these puppies to lock up. Alright, so what I have is a pressure bleeder. It actually bleeds from, it puts pressure on the reservoir and pushes the fluid through. So that way you're not actually, forcing air or sucking air or any of that kind of stuff. It's just pure fluid being pushed in. So I got this from Motive Products. They're the only people that I see that actually makes this type of thing. I ended up buying a bleed bottle too, because I'm just tired of all the crazy stupid bottles like that, and it's just pain in the ass and stuff getting all over the place. Like, just get the right bottle and be done with it. So the way this works is you pop this thing on here, it's sealed, and then the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put pressure, just air pressure, into the system with a few pounds and see if it actually holds pressure for 10 minutes. And then after I'm done with that, I'll actually put fluid in the canister, and then that way this is all oil, if you will, and pressurize the system, and then just go and actually bleed the brakes from the back end and get all the air bubbles out, and it should be just pure fluid going in. So that one of my friends did, and he said he was able to do it like without bench bleeding or any of that stuff, and 10 minutes to a half an hour he was done, and things have been rock solid ever since. And so this is kind of my last saving grace to try, because this has just been absurd. And if that doesn't work out, I'm just going to take this to the car trash compactor thing, and I'm just going to freaking flatten the shit out of this thing and be done with it. Because I'm done. So that's how I feel. But we're going to try this thing. I waited a few days. I talked to them directly and bought it from them directly. And they were really awesome people, really nice, and helped me out. I didn't know what size my caps were, because they're kind of generic in a sense. I got them from Factory 5. And so they gave me two different options so I could, see which one works. And so right now the black cap is working great. We'll see what happens when I fire it up. All right, so we got it tight on there. We tightened up this, and we've pumped in about 15 pounds. And so we're just going to let this sit for about 10 minutes. See if there's any, if this thing deflates or not, and loses pressure, and then we'll go from there. All right, so I went to the store for like 20 minutes to get some more brake fluid, and we're still holding. So no leaks in the system, so that's good. So now we just need to get all the air out of the system. All right, so you can see we're getting decent amount of fluid coming through. We are getting some more bubbles out of the back. What seems to be working is leaving this pressurized and letting the system settle for a little bit and then going back at it. So I'm going to leave this set for about 15 minutes and then go back at it. I definitely have the most pressure I've ever had. I don't think we're there yet. It seems like the front is probably bled and the back is what the issues are. And you know, the back, the lines come all the way up here and then go all the way across, and there's curly cues in it. So that might be kind of where we're getting stuck on stuff. And so a combination of having this pressurized, pushing it in and out while it's open, just pushing that fluid through. And the second thing is we're actually doing a hybrid of like closing it up, pressuring, hitting the brake a few times, kind of pressuring it up, letting it come out. And we are seeing bubbles come out when we do that. So we're just going to let this sit for a while. We're going to keep trying a few different times and kind of see where it goes. So we got it a lot further than it's ever been. We got really decent pressure about half of the way down on the pedal, which is, I don't know, maybe an inch and a half, and then it's solid. And then when you let it go to bleed, it's another inch and a half. I would love to see it be more like 3/4 of an inch and then it's solid, or half an inch and it's solid. I'm not sure if that's the way it's supposed to be or not, because I've never used this system before, but so we're going to let it sit overnight and see if any bubbles accumulate and then give it another shot. And it seems like every time we let it set, it kind of allows us to get more out of it. So we're going to do that. So this whole brake thing has been really frustrating. You know, from the time that I started this video, the footage you saw in this video till today, it's literally been like 2 weeks. And I've just been trying one thing after another. And then I started tech support with Willwood, and they've been very helpful and very kind. And then I started, you know, Willwood is asking for certain specifications, and so I started talking to Factory 5 about it, and Factory 5's like, well, why don't, you shouldn't be having this problem, you know, why don't I have Jim get on the line with you? And Jim's like their head engineer, designer guy there. And so I got on a conversation with him, and one of the things that he was talking about was when you set the brakes, or the pedal height, if you will, to the specs that the manual is telling you to set it at, it might not push the, you know, pistons or whatever all the way to its, you know, back end full, you know, throw, if you will. And because of that, air could get entrapped in there because it's not getting pushed out all the way. Now, you could also say, well, if you bench bleed this, you shouldn't have that issue. But the act of bench bleeding, which I think is a good thing, that's fine. But once you bring it in, you're still introducing some air by even connecting the master cylinders after they've already been bench bled, because between the reservoir and the master cylinder, there's going to be some air that gets in there. It might only be 1/4 of an inch in air, you know, in the tube, but it's still some air, and that could still get trapped in there. So what I did is I unscrewed the pedal as much as possible, which is the threaded rods that is going into the balance bar. And you back that all the way out of those two, I'm assuming called clevises. And once you do that, now your pedal height has come up and you have full push, full throw, those pistons going all the way into the back. So we did that and did a 3-man bleed. And while I was doing the 3-man bleed, after about 3, 4, 5 pumps, out of nowhere, I got a crap load of air out of my front left side, which I was actually shocked. And I think there was a little bit of air that came out of the back. And so that was kind of unexpected. Wasn't expecting that at all, but I was happy that I saw some air come out. And then we went around to all the other brakes, and everything seemed all right. Didn't see much air come out at all. but that one was pretty big. So I think at this point, it's time to actually drop the car on the ground and actually, you know, get it out of the garage so I don't hit the wall on the way out. And, you know, just go test drive it around and see if we're anywhere near what it's supposed to be. Again, these are manual brakes. These are not powered brakes. So it's not a feel that I'm normal and used to, if you will. And, you know, even Jim was saying from Factory 5, he's like, you know, this is a race car with manual brakes. You need to push on those brakes harder than you would anything else. And so that's something that I need to take into account. And the other, you know, the third thing is, you know, my litmus test was, you know, can I stop the back axles from spinning when it's, let's say, at idle, just like I was sitting at a stoplight and still in drive because I have an automatic transmission. And originally it was no, I couldn't. And so that was very scary. But then I adjusted the balance bar and I was able to get it to stop. So that was really good. However, keep in mind that usually your front brakes are stopping the car more than anything. So being up in the air on jacks doesn't give me, I'm missing possibly 60% of my braking power being up in the air on jacks because the fronts would be actually helping the rear do its thing. And, you know, one of my friends was saying that the back end should stop instantly, but he's also on a manual car. So of course he's putting the clutch in when he does that. So, you know, I'm trying to take all these variables into account and, you know, calculate it and figure out what should actually be. So I think at this point, the car is ready to hit the ground, go out on the street and kind of see what happens. And hopefully everything is nice and smooth. So we'll see how it goes. But, you know, it's been a crazy few weeks and, you know, I've just been kind of done with it. And at the same time, it's kind of been, you know, I don't want to say a mini vacation because I'm still, you know, working and all that kind of stuff. But I just kind of like checked out in a sense and just got away from it for a little bit and the pressure and I got to make videos and, you know, I can't bleed the brakes, I can't take the car out and, you know, all that kind of stuff that goes on. And believe me, for me, I'm the type of person that stuff does affect me. You know, I do want to put my videos out and I do want to have a little buffer so I'm not like stressed out all the time and stuff like that. But this, you know, this is a safety issue. So that's kind of been a big issue for me that I want to make sure this car stops because this engine is very powerful for the size of car it is. So in any case, that's what I think we're going to do next video is try to get out there and try to do it in a safe manner. So until next time, have a great day.